have pages 21 and 32 from the book How to Train Your Dragon. What I would like you to do in a moment is just pause this video and take a close look at these pages. The questions I want you to consider whilst you're looking at these pages is, what can you tell me about these pages? What information can you deduct from these pages? And also, what could these be classed as non-chronological reports? So what elements within these pages would make them classed as a non-chronological report? I would like you now to pause the video and just have a look and discuss those questions. Okay, so here we have the example of the non-chronological report which you are going to be deconstructing today. Now, in Year 4, we have done loads and loads and loads of deconstructions, and I know that you also would have done them in Year 3. So this time, essentially, it is going to be teaching your parents about what you need to do. Now, as always, we have our key on the left-hand side, which shows us essentially what we need to be looking for. And we're going to use this a bit like a checklist. Now, I'm going to choose my colour. Remember, you will need your colour pencils handy or your colour pens handy. And I'm going to choose red to begin with. And this first feature here says eye-catching heading. So, I'm going to colour that box in red, and I'm going to find my eye-catching heading. Now, that is often found at the top. Now, with a ruler, all you need to do is draw your line and underline that part there. And you can see that your eye-catching heading directly links now to the colour on the grid. I am then going to move down my grid. I'm going to look for my introduction. Now, your introduction essentially gives a brief overview of what your document is going to be about. Now, I can see here that my introduction is written directly below my title. Now, I've chosen green for my introduction. Again, using a ruler, you're going to underline your introduction. And this tells me that you know exactly where it is, and it matches it up again with the colour. Now, I'm now going to choose blue, and I'm going to continue moving down my grid. The text is split into paragraphs. Okay, so once again, I've chosen my colour, I've gone for blue, and I've put it inside the text box there. Now, this time, because I can see that it is split into paragraphs, I'm not going to underline the entire document. In fact, what I'm going to do is just do a bracket around 1 or 2 paragraphs, so appearance and habitat, and that tells me, because the blue links up with the item on the grid on the left-hand side, that I know that it's split into paragraphs. We're going to do one more. This time, the colour I'm going to choose is, I'm going to go for an orange colour, and I'm going to colour in subheadings for each paragraph. And I've chosen that in orange. Now, I just need to look for my subheadings. Because there are small subheadings within this text, I can just underline them in orange. Just like that. And once again, the colour matches up with the item on the grid. You will need to do this for the entire grid. So this moves us on to what your task is going to be today. Okay? Today's date is Tuesday the 21st of April, and your learning objective is to deconstruct a non-chronological report. If you're going to go for bronze, then you should at the very least be trying to identify these 4 features: an eye-catching heading, an introduction, an illustration, which is essentially the drawings within the document, and then the text that's been split into paragraphs. If you were then going to progress and you would like to move on to silver, I would like you to try and identify the subheadings for each paragraph, usually written in the present tense, so you want to be looking for your present tense verbs there. Pictures of the subject, so you're going to be looking again for those pictures and those illustrations, and then your captions under each picture. Remember, your captions give a small piece of detail about the picture that it is underneath. If you're going to go for gold, I want you to find the list of facts in bullet points, so that might be in a little did you know section down in the corner. A rhetorical question, remember those are questions that the writer poses to the reader that doesn't necessarily need an answer, it just provokes them to think about the text. Technical vocabulary, so this would be high quality vocabulary or vocabulary that is specific to that piece of text. And then boxes containing interesting facts. So this just adds a bit of variety to the layout of the document. If you really want to challenge yourself today, and your work looks really accomplished when you are able to do this, I would like you to explain why each technique is used within the report. An example of this would be subheadings. Now, subheadings are used to organise the information into manageable paragraphs. It also helps the reader find the required information that they're looking for quickly. And if you were to complete challenge, then your document or your piece of work should look a little bit like this. You would have your sheet stuck in, you would have your feature list on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, and then you have your annotations on the left-hand side poking out. You have almost your subheadings for each one, and then your detail underneath. Now, I know some of you at home perhaps are choosing not to print this off. What I would like you to do, if you are able to complete this, is to have the document up on a screen, and then you can identify the features within your workbook. I would recommend spending maybe 20 to 25 minutes on this task, and then once you feel like you've completed your challenge, that's adequate for you, or it's time to move on, then we will complete today's reflection shape. Your reflection today is a two-part sequence. First of all, I would like you to answer this question here. Now, you can do this verbally with the person who's learning with you, or you can write it down at the bottom of your page. It's entirely up to you. Which feature of a non-chronological report do you think is the most important to help the reader find out about your dragon? And why do you think this is the case? This is the key part of the question here. Don't just choose your feature. I want you to